Ruth was a bright polytechnic graduate with a whole future ahead of her. That future ended the moment an underage, unlicensed Dangote truck driver crushed her on the streets of Benin. The driver was briefly arrested and quickly released. Ruth was rushed to a hospital where doctors fought to keep her alive. About the cruel cost of our national negligence. A right above the knee amputations, failing kidneys, collapsed lungs, internal injuries, and a permanent disability. She could not breathe without a tracheostomy tube inserted in her neck. A young life that once brimmed with promise was reduced to endless pain and hospital machines. She was not alone. Another victim, Elizabeth Obi, who had been bedridden for months after being struck by the same company's heavy-duty truck. She now breathes only through assisted medical support. These women are not just statistics. They are daughters, sisters, friends whose dreams have been brutally stolen. The bike rider who conveyed Ruth remains in critical condition and his fate uncertain. The recurring question is, why are underage and unlicensed drivers entrusted with dangerous heavy-duty trucks? Why do companies allow vehicles with failing tires and poor maintenance to ply our highways? The answer is simple and tragic, because products are seen as more valuable than people. Everyday companies push their trucks onto the road to meet delivery deadlines, even when the vehicles are unfit to use. The victims are left to grapple with irreparable loss, while corporations issue press statements and at best foot partial hospital bills. But who pays for the lives permanently altered? Who restores the broken dreams? Our regulatory agencies, the FRSC, VIO, the Ministry of Transport must take responsibility. Tragedies have become a normal feature in our daily news. Trucks fall from bridges, crush cars, and speed recklessly through towns. Yet, inspections are lax, licenses abused, and enforcement is weak. Worse still, justice is almost impossible to obtain. Victims and their families are silenced by a system where corporations are deemed too big or too connected to be held accountable. In such a country, hope is murdered twice, first on the road and then in the courtroom. It is time to demand corporate accountability. Big companies with fleet of trucks must employ only licensed and qualified drivers, conduct mandatory drug tests, carry out regular vehicle maintenance and timely replacement of tires and parts. Screen suppliers' trucks, as they also represent the company's brand. Beyond that, lawmakers must enforce heavy fines on any company whose negligence leads to accidents. If it becomes more expensive to ignore safety than to enforce it, companies will change their ways. Our judges must also rise to the moment. Justice should not be reserved for the rich and connected. If Ruth and Elizabeth were your daughters, would you not fight to the end? Judges have the power to ensure that these companies are held accountable. The late Judge Frank Caprio is celebrated worldwide for fairness and compassion. Nigerian judges too can leave such legacy. The BB Naija Season 7 winner, Ijoma Otabo, popularly known as Phyna, has been leading a fierce campaign for justice for her sister Ruth, who lost her leg in a truck accident near Auchi Polytechnic on the 11th of August 2025. Despite promises, the Dangote Group failed to send Ruth abroad for treatment. Instead, they dismissed Phyna's demand for 1 billion naira compensation as outrageous and greedy. But can money replace life? That life and dream is now gone. On August 31st, 2025, Ruth succumbed to her injuries and left behind 2 children. Her story is a haunting reminder that until we demand accountability, negligence will continue to rip our lives. if we continue to discard accountability and harbor injustice, these incidents will reoccur until they meet us at our doorsteps. The Federal Road Safety Corps is statutorily tasked to reduce accidents on our highways and ensure that all vehicles on the road are roadworthy. Yet heavy trucks with terrible conditions, sometimes missing tires, roam freely across Nigeria. The FRSA is placed under the presidency, with the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation as its supervising authority. Its governing board is responsible for policy making and administration. So I call on the SGF to ensure that the FRSC fulfills its mandate under the leadership of Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed, its current head. But responsibilities does not lie on FRSC alone. Other agencies that manage and enforce traffic regulations must rise to the task. Traffic wardens, the Federal Highway Patrol teams, Vehicle Inspectorate officers, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nigeria Police Force, that's the Transport Department, the Mobile Court, the National Union of Road Transport Workers, and FEMA. These institutions must work in synergy to ensure road safety, enforce strict compliance, and hold violators accountable. Ruth and Elizabeth's stories are not isolated tragedies. They are the lived realities of too many Nigerians. Behind every accident statistics is a name, a dream, a family living with scars that money cannot heal. Nigeria cannot continue to normalize deaths on our highways. Human lives must come before products, profits, and politics. Until we act decisively, our roads will continue to remain killing fields, and our silence will make us all complicit in Nigeria be great again.